Please rise for the flag salute. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay. Route of egress. In the event of an emergency, all people may exit right or left from this room and proceed to an exit door. All doors will open from the inside. The New Jersey Open Public Meetings Law was enacted to ensure the right of the public to have advance notice of and to attend the meetings of public bodies at which any business affecting their interests is discussed or acted upon. In accordance with the provisions of this act, the Haledon Board of Education has caused notice of this meeting to be published in the North Jersey Herald News, the board's official newspaper, on January 11th, 2023, and November 13th, 2023. Notices of this meeting indicating date, time, and place were posted publicly on the door of the main entrance to the school and filed with the clerk in the municipality of Haledon. Roll call, please.
Mr. Abbasi?
Here.
Mr. Coletta?
Present.
Mr. Guzman? Mr. Martinez?
Here.
Mr. Moxell?
Here.
Mr. Ramadan?
Here.
Ms. Vera Digliosi? Here. Mr. Webb?
He just logged on.
Yeah, I did see. Mr. Webb?
Can we let him unmute?
I did see him earlier.
Hello, I'm here.
Okay,
And Mrs. Issa?
here. Okay, thank you. So, unfortunately, I'm not able to be there in person tonight. I've been under the weather this week, but I'm gonna turn it over to Mr. Waka for the board member recognition.
Sure. So, one of the reasons we were practicing this name, Jamie Spirit Digliosi, Miss Jamie Spirit Digliosi, in appreciation for your commitment and dedication to our community and students. We thank you for sharing your insight, passion, intellect, and experience with this board. The Haledon Public School Board of Education gratefully acknowledges the outstanding standards you displayed during your service and wishes many healthy and joyous years ahead. From the Haledon Public Schools, signed Lisa Flores, the president, and myself, Chris Walker, the chief school administrator. So if you could please come up and accept this award. If you want it. Thank you very much.
It only took you, what, a year and a half to pronounce the name properly?
You were possessed. You are possessed.
So we do.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Spirit Digliosi. And thank you, Mr. Waka. So let me go on. So I believe, Mr. Waka, that we're actually not going to have the presentation.
Yeah, so Ms. Kiefer is also a little under the weather, so we're going to push that back to probably the second meeting in January.
Okay, sounds good. Okay, so can I have a motion to accept correspondence?
So moved. Second.
Okay, now this is going to be a little bit of a guessing game. It sounded like Motzko, moved by Motzko and seconded by Mr. Martinez.
Correct.
Roll call, please.
Mr. Abbasi?
Yes.
Mr. Coletta?
Yes.
Mr. Martinez?
Yes.
Mr. Moxell?
Yes.
Mr. Ramadan?
Yes.
Ms. Vera Digliosi? Yes. Mr. Webb?
Yes.
And Mrs. Issa?
Yes. Okay, can I have a motion to approve prior minutes?
Second.
Okay, so help me out.
Moved by Martinez, second by Moxell.
Okay, thank you. Roll call, please.
Mr. Abbasi?
Yes.
Mr. Coletta?
Yes.
Mr. Martinez?
Yes.
Mr. Moxell?
Yes.
Mr. Ramadan?
Yes.
Ms. Barrett-Digliosi, Mr. Webb,
Yes.
and Mrs. Issa.
Yes. Okay, so if you wouldn't mind tonight, just when you move and second, just say who you are, just so I know. Okay, so can I have a motion to open the floor to citizens on agenda items only?
So moved, Abati.
Second, Moxel.
Okay, so moved by Mr. Abasi, seconded by Mr. Motzko. Roll call, please.
Mr. Abasi,
Yes.
Mr. Coletta,
Yes.
Mr. Martinez,
Yes.
Mr. Maxwell,
Yes.
Mr. Ramadan,
Yes.
Ms. Barrett-Digliosi.
Yes.
Mr. Webb,
Yes.
and Mrs. Issa.
Yes. Okay, the floor is open to the public on agenda items only. Is there anything? Okay. Okay, then can I have a motion to close the floor?
So move, Moxel. Second, Martinez.
So moved by Mr. Mosco, seconded by Mr. Martinez. Roll call, please.
Mr. Abasi,
Yes.
Mr. Coletta,
Yes.
Mr. Martinez,
Yes.
Mr. Maxwell,
Yes.
Mr. Ramadan,
Yes.
Ms. Barrett-Digliosi.
Yes.
Mr. Webb,
Yes.
and Mrs. Issa.
Yes. Okay, moving on to committee reports. I'm going to start. Again, I apologize for not being there in person. I'm not feeling well this week. And I was disappointed to not be there for Ms. Barrett-Digliosi's last meeting. But I want to thank her for her service to our board and the students and staff of Haledon Public School. Though it was for a short time, she took the role seriously and read up on important documentation and background info, and even completed some professional development by attending the New Jersey School Board Association's annual workshop. Thank you, Ms. Barrett-Digliosi. As an educator, HPS parent, and member of our community, I hope we'll still see you at board meetings. Secondly, since this is our last board meeting of 2023, it's a good time to reflect on the past year. We've said goodbye to some board members who moved away, and hello to new board members who have been appointed or newly elected come January. Our board had its first retreat, and from that, we've developed some specific board goals that I hope we'll continue to work towards. Our district has welcomed new staff, including a new vice principal. We've begun a momentous construction project that will expand our reach, allowing us to serve more students and provide more space for opportunities within the school. And most recently, Mr. Waka and our good friend and colleague, Kathleen Helwa, have led the Parent Academy to engage with HPS parents and families to get input and gauge their opinions on what programming the school should focus on as we move forward. This has been a unique opportunity to collaborate and build rapport with our parents, who are our partners in the mission of educating our students academically and socially, providing them with well-rounded, meaningful, and happy experiences that contribute to their overall development. So with all that said, I want to thank our administration, our teachers and staff, as well as our students, family, and community for a good year. I wish everyone happy, healthy, and safe holidays. And may you take this special time of year to rest and rejuvenate, to be ready for a brand new year with all of the potential that it holds. And with that, I will turn it over to our Chief School Administrator, Mr. Waka.
Thank you, Ms. Board President. So I want to start with the news that's not so good. And that's that, there's definitely a couple bugs in the air in Haledon and in the region. The last couple of days, we saw that our attendance rate had about 100 students each day out, which for us is a little over 10%. So that is a big deal, and that's something that we got to keep an eye on. And then, some of the teachers, have been ill. And then there's also the ripple effect that because it's in this whole region, that a lot of the teachers have, children at home. And then if their children are sick, they have to stay out. So it's been very, hectic as far as, Jenny is doing a great job, with the scheduling and the class coverages. But it's getting a lot. So it's something that we're going to have to just keep our eye on. But we also appreciate that, in this community, when we ask parents, hey, even though it's going to hurt our IMP scores, if your kid's sick or not feeling well, stay home. We appreciate that parents have done that. We're still gonna look to keep the building open, but if COVID's taught us anything, it's that we were successful because we planned for everything in advance. So administratively, we had a meeting just what would happen if the trend keeps getting exacerbating and we would have to go to remote or whatever. I don't expect we'll get there, but we are planning for all scenarios, and we hope that this bug passes. We're doing our best to keep the building as clean and sanitized as we can, but everyone, it seems, getting a little under the weather. But on a happier note, I was really proud of the structure and the attendance at the first two Parent Academy meetings. The number of participants increased from meeting 1 to meeting 2. And I was very proud regarding the level of depth that the conversations and discussions had. I thought Kathleen did a good job making sure each voice in the room had a chance to speak and then give their 2 cents. And there were at least 2 or 3 or 4 ideas that came out from parents and staff that we'd never really considered before, but that might have some merit and that have benefit. So I'm looking forward, before probably during the break, I'll send out another video advertising for the 3rd and 4th meetings. And I like that almost all the parents that came to the first one also came to the second, but then they expanded. So it seems like they had at least they perceived it was a positive experience. Next week's a busy week. We have our holiday concert planned for our elementary school students. It'll kick off at about 9 a.m. and we're going to open the doors to the public at about 8:45 a.m. Mr. Spizzato will be sending home robocalls, emails, texts, just to remind parents as the date approaches. That's always a good time. And speaking of good times, I want to thank the borough for inviting our youth choir to perform at the Halden Senior Citizens Luncheon earlier this week. That's always a lovely event. And our kids did such a good job singing. They did the Mariah Carey All I Want for Christmas song, and they did it so well. And all the old people the senior citizens were all into it. And I was into it. So I want to thank Mr. Morris for doing such a great job with the kids at the concert. A quick follow-up to Mr. Coletta's question from last week about other schools' IMP scores. Not every district in the county has yet to receive their IMP score. So once we get that, I'll have that information for you. And construction update, everything's going according to plan thus far. So we're off to a really good start with the construction. Lamika and myself and Jermaine, we met with Northeastern Interior, that's the company doing our construction, and our architect firm, DeCara Rubino, today. Every 2 weeks we have a meeting just to see what's going on. Starting tomorrow, they're going to be beginning to forming the piers and installing rebar. They're going to be, we're going to have our first third-party inspection coming on the 21st. They're going to pour concrete for the piers on the 22nd. But basically, we have a 2-week timeline. We're making sure everything gets done. Our Jermaine's making sure everything gets done, and the architect firm is also making sure everything gets done. But right now, knock on wood, things are going well. We thought it was going to be really, really loud. Thus far, we haven't heard that. So that's a positive sign. And another good sign is I've probably gone 2 straight weeks without having seen a construction work. They have their own separate entrance. They don't have access to the building. There's steep rock walls separating where they work and where our staff works and our kids are. And they've kept their word as far as not really interfering at all. We don't even see them, so I'm happy with the way that's going. And last but not least, our holiday float through town is going to be on the 23rd. We're going to meet at Manchester at 6:30. I know Miss Spirit Digliosi has said she would come. Miss Isa has said she would come. I believe that my friend Lamika is going to come. And I anticipate that Mr. Ramadan will come, but all the board members, you're more than welcome. We always have a lot of fun with that. And that really is I think it's a really good way to connect with the town. So I'm looking forward to it. And I hope you guys come. And Jeff, if you feel like spreading some holiday cheer, hop on the float. That's my report.
Okay. Questions?
Okay,
Well,
I have a question as well when it's my turn.
but you could take my spot when we had time for the float. For the parent-teacher meeting, I know when we spoke about it at the last board meeting, you were anticipating, well, you had about 30, 35 RSVPs and a little worried about more people come. So how did that turn out?
I think the first one, we probably had about 15 or 16, give or take. The second one, we probably had closer to 22 or 23. I would split that ballpark. if we had up to 50 parents, I think we could still facilitate it. So we'll see how many we get when the next set of RFPs go out. But I think the way that the program's structured, we could always, I think we'd find room for everybody.
How are the RSVPs? Is it just through the video?
So I sent the video, then everybody gets a text message, and if you click on the link on the text message, then it'll bring you to the Google form where you RSVP for which events you want to come to.
Okay. Is there an email that's going out maybe?
It'll be a robo call, a robo text, and then the robo email.
Okay. All right.
It's usually what we would use. And Mr. Colletti, you had something?
Yeah, I just had a question on the construction. When the schools close for breaks, like the Christmas break and these other breaks, they're going to continue construction, or do they also pause their efforts when the schools close?
Great question. I should have mentioned that. They're going to be here. The only days they're not going to be here is like Christmas Day or New Year's Day. But even if we close because it's snow, they're going to be here as long as they can get their employees here.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Anybody else have any questions for Mr. Waka? Okay, thanks, Mr. Waka. I'm going to turn it over to our board secretary, our business administrator, Miss Augustin.
Thank you. So today on the finance agenda, we have 13.1. I just usually have the Mashios, which is our food service program, approval of their invoice and the profit and loss statement. I just wanted to mention it this time because I'm not sure if the attachment, you can see that there's a monthly net profit, and it also tells us the year to date. Each food service company also always gives us a guarantee at the beginning of their contract of how much they will give the district annually net profit. And also, I also wanted to note that they are coming up to the expiration of their contract. The schools have the option to renew the food service contract annually every year up to 5 years. State statute law says that we have to renew it after, we have to go out to RFP once we enter into the 5th year. So that's what we'll be doing. And the reason why I also bring this up because today we had a survey or a meeting with a few students today, and we asked them questions about the program and how they're liking the food and what would they like to see better. So we had 4 students from different grade levels come in and get their feedback on how the program is going. We got good feedback, and we also got some areas where we can improve on, very minimal, but overall the students do like the food that is being served. And they also want to incorporate one of the things of more cultural food items in there that will fall in line with the nutritional facts that is necessary for the program. So this is good feedback from Nashville's and also good feedback for us, but just know even if they improve on these items, we do have to go out for RFP so we can wind up with the different food companies. So any questions on that and understanding that whole process, because we don't have a choice. After 5 years, we definitely have to go out.
When is that RFP going out?
March or April, that is usually around the time.
And we have to make a decision by June or July?
We do have to make a decision by that time, but more than likely it will be the lowest responsible bidder. So we don't really have.
That's how government contracts work with me too. I get it.
And we discussed a little bit in the finance team that we have some local new vendors that might be interested into looking into that. So when I put out that ad, hopefully they will submit some of their RFP.
That was good to get.
Yeah.
Can I ask one more quick question?
Sure.
Mentioned about the cultural food option. If that would that be an exclusive option for lunch on a specific day, or would it, in case somebody's not into other cultural foods, would there be an option for?
If you don't mind, say you're a child and you don't like the hot lunch, right? You have the option of the cold lunch. The cold lunch, there's the salad meals, and then there's the sandwiches meals. And then the other option would be the halal meal if that's what you want. So those would be the 4 groups you can go to. I think in the context of this, it would be something like here's, the hot meal would be this. Sometimes Liz may have put out like 2 different hot meals depending on what her supplies are that day. I hope that answers.
Yeah.
So
Thank
they
you.
always had options, whether the meal of the day is for cultural, whether it's mac and cheese or pizza, but it seemed to be pizza is the number one choice for all the students.
Chicken nuggets.
And chicken nuggets and mozzarella sticks, so those were the top.
It's like the little kids.
Yeah.
Acceptance of a donation from Bridgeway Community Church. They actually donated some coats to a few of our students in our district. So we'll be sending this resolution with thank you note to, just note their generosity to the district. And I understand that this is something annually that they do.
Yeah, I want to thank Ms. Rome and the guidance staff. They really helped out, identifying which children would benefit from this. So kudos to you guys.
On resolution 13.4, we have an acceptance of the HVAC grant payment. So this grant has been going on for about a couple years. We finished most of the HVAC project. We did have a few punch list items that we are doing. Now the district is able to go in and do their reimbursements. This is part of the reimbursement that we received so far, which is $10,956, and we have an additional $355,428.75 of funds to receive. So again, when we have grants, we pay them out initially, and then the district will draw down on the money or receive the reimbursements as we submit paperwork to each respective agency. On 13.8 and 13.9, this is an annual agreement with ACES company, it's a consultant company similar to the E-Way company. We approve this resolution every year for this company can go out to bid for competitive energy and gas prices. Our energy and gas company could change every year according to whatever the results was. And similarly, they go with the lowest bidder or the most advantageous energy prices for our district. And we have our treasurer's report and board secretary's report, monthly reports, and that we are just approving and other items of tuition agreements and transportation. Any questions?
Very quick one.
Sure.
13.7, that dinner and show, is that here? The fundraiser?
Yes, Mr.
Last year, they did it here. I imagine they would also look to do it here once again, but I know that last year we did the same event and it was done here. And it was,
Yeah, and I want to add, it was a super nice event. It was a potluck, so families brought dishes, from home. It was really nice. It was so well attended, and then, you could sit and talk with they had tables set up, so you could, just kind of sit family style, and it was really nice. And then the kids put on a show, and it was a great event.
Thank you.
Okay, any other questions for Ms. Augustin? Okay, thank you very much, Ms. Augustin. And give me one moment here to get back to my agenda. Okay, so let's go to committee reports. Let's see, personnel and management. Mr. Martinez,
Agenda items only.
okay. Curriculum and technology, Mr. Webb.
Hello, before I give my report on behalf of my wife, myself, I just want to thank everyone for the well wishes on our new addition. We just had our first son, Daniel Kai, and also I just want to wish everyone a happy holiday season. We have agenda items only on curriculum and technology.
Thank you, Mr. Webb. And I can hear the happiness in your voice talking about your son. Congratulations
Oh,
again.
thank you so much. Yes.
Okay, now let's see, policy and public relations, Mr. Martinez.
I think the report.
Okay, security and safety, Mr. Ramadan.
Nothing to report.
Okay, community engagement and outreach, Mr. Webb.
Nothing to report.
And finance and physical plant, Mr. Motzko.
We signed bills, discussed the agenda, and that's it. The rest is agenda items only. And thank you to Bridgeway Church for their donation.
and Lamika didn't say it, but Lamika did a lot of the legwork there, helping set things up. So I appreciate it.
thank you. Let me
Yeah, thank you. That was great, great initiative. Okay, so for the state and county, so there was a Passaic County meeting on November 30th. A couple of us were there. The presentation that they did was school district safety and security. It was given by the superintendent, assistant superintendent, and director of district safety and security of Clifton Public Schools. So Clifton is a very large district, and their security is comprehensive and thorough. The speakers explains like hardening and softening of schools in terms of safety and security. So hardening refers to securing the district's physical presence, you know, such as like a security vestibule, which I know we've discussed as a potential enhancement to our school entrance, multi-step identification and verification for visitors, and giving teachers access to set off a security alarm or a lockdown from their classroom, which I know our teachers have as well. The softening of schools refers to education, awareness, and relationship building. So I was really pleased to hear that several of Clifton's softening practices are things that HPS has in place as well. The presenters spent some time talking about their PBSIS initiative, which they said they put a lot of stock into. So PBSIS stands for Positive Behavior Support in Schools, and it's a program that HPS has implemented for several years now. They also suggested having a security specialist, which is, you know, akin to like a school resource officer. And they mentioned the LEAD program, the Law Enforcement Against Drugs, which the Haledon Police Department administers in the 5th grade classes. And also having a good relationship with your local police department. So these are all things that HPS has and does. So for a small district, you know, this reassures me that we're in a very good place, security and safety wise. Some suggestions that I thought were very good were having independent drills for students with exceptionalities or, you know, special needs, and having the local police department do some professional development on safety for school staff. So those are just a couple of things to think about for the future. So they were supposed to send the presentation, but I haven't received it yet. So I'm going to try to follow up because I would really love to share that with, you know, all the board members and administration. It was a really good presentation. And then just a couple of other things at that meeting. They mentioned that New Jersey School Board Association has this attorney of the day where school board members or administrators can call to get legal or labor information. They do have a disclaimer though, that this isn't, you know, official legal advice, it's just information. And then there's a new monthly podcast called The Boardroom, which features discussions on, you know, Board of Education best practices. And you can access the podcast by going to the NJSBA website. And then, you know, they also just thanked outgoing board members and welcomed newly elected board members. And as I mentioned before, Passaic County's new field service rep, Kelly Mitchell, she introduced herself and she said she's looking forward to working with the Passaic County district. So it was a good meeting with a rich discussion. And that's it. So let's go back to personnel and management. Mr. Martinez,
Agenda items only. Which one?
just tell us which items you're going to move, please.
Removing
Tracy, 8.1 to 8.
8.1 to 8.9. Please move.
Okay, can I have a second?
second, Moxel,
Okay, so moved by Mr. Martinez, seconded by Mr. Mosco. Roll call, please.
Mr. Abati?
I just ask a quick question on 8.4, the revised job description for vice principals. Is that what's revised here? It doesn't state what it is. Is it just the third set of?
Actually, you know, Mr. Abbasi, I had the same question. I was wondering if it's just attending conventions. That looked like something that might be new. Was that the only thing that's been updated?
I don't know what might have been changed.
I think it was P, letter P, right? I think just to get some more flexibility. If you look at the job description, P, we have P. as an underline. I thought that was it.
Forms such as other passing assumes other functional responsibility as a superintendent. Made from time to time.
Okay.
Okay,
Yeah, because it wasn't like bold or
Right,
it didn't
right,
stand out
right.
what was revised, so I was just curious. Other than that,
I mean, it's outlined.
I think that's what that meant. It's like the,
It's the
The under-
it's the-
that's underlined. Okay. Okay. And then, so one more question then, since this is the first time I've seen this document. It says in the terms of employment, it must hold a principal certificate. Is all three vice principals have that?
Yeah. And then if I'm out of the building, then they could give it to me.
Okay. Yeah, it says the date that it was revised. It just didn't say what was revised. It's something that's on. Okay. All right, yes, very long, yes.
Mr. Coletta,
Yes.
Mr. Martinez,
Yes.
Mr. Moxell,
Yes.
Mr. Ramadan,
yes.
Ms. Birdigliozzi, Mr. Webb,
Yes.
and Mrs. Zissou.
yes. Okay, curriculum and technology, Mr. Webb.
I'd like to move 9.1 through 9.5.
So moved. Second, Martinez.
Okay, so moved by Mr. Webb, seconded by Mr. Martinez. Roll call, please.
Mr. Abbasi,
Yes.
Mr. Coletta,
Yes, sorry, it wasn't unmuting.
Mr. Martinez,
Yes.
Mr. Moxell,
Yes.
Mr. Ramadan,
Yes.
Ms. Birdigliozzi,
Yes.
Mr. Webb,
Yes.
and Mrs. Zissou.
Yes. Okay, and then I think we can skip right down to finance and physical plant, Mr. Motzko.
Move 13.1 through 13.19.
Second, Abasi?
Okay, so moved by Mr. Motzko, seconded by Mr. Abbasi. Roll call, please.
Mr. Abbasi,
Yes.
In-
On 1318, I abstained from PO 4351.
Mr. Coletta,
Yes.
Mr. Martinez,
Yes.
Mr. Moxell,
Yes.
Mr. Ramadan,
Yes.
Ms. Birdigliozzi,
Yes.
Mr. Webb,
Yes.
Mrs. Zissou.
Yes. Okay, so next is new and old business. Is there any new or old business?
Just one item, old business, this is Abasi. Last meeting, 12/12, there was a question that came up about the content or potential screening of the comedy routine. And I don't know if that,
I owe you that. I'll get back to it.
okay,
I
I think
didn't get on
it
that.
wasn't mentioned explicitly in the minutes, I just don't want it to get lost.
I'll find out exactly the median, but I imagine it's gonna be appropriate, but I'll double check. Sorry about that.
That's all I had, thank you.
Okay, anything else for new or old business? Okay, so can I have a motion to open the floor to citizens?
So move.
Moxel. Second, Martinez.
So moved by Mr. Motzko, seconded by Mr. Martinez. Roll call, please.
Mr. Abbasi,
Yes.
Mr. Coletta,
Yes.
Mr. Martinez,
Yes.
Mr. Moxell,
Yes.
Mr. Ramadan,
Yes.
Ms. Birdigliozzi,
Yes.
Mr. Webb,
Yes.
and Mrs. Zissou.
Yes. Okay, so the floor is open to the public.
We'll speak.
Oh,
We have one in
okay.
Miss,
Okay.
she can't see you. She didn't know you were walking up.
Go ahead.
You know what?
So, I mean, she might not be able to hear you, like some here.
It's a delay.
To the bracket. I would like to thank all of my supporters, including some of the board members, for coming out to vote on November 7th. I hope this proves the superintendent and principal. and the board that I will not only speak for myself, I speak for many. I would like to take the time to debunk some of the rumors brought on by the opposing. I'm not a Republican. There's nothing wrong with being a Republican. However, it is public knowledge what I am. The colors red, white, and black are the school colors, not a political preference. Liking Mr. Walker. I do not know enough about Mr. Walker to say yay or nay to that. Despite what some board members think, not one single person on this board holds all the cards, and it is done as a board and as a unit. Kelton, please continue to come to vote in all elections. Your vote counts. On January 3rd is the next meeting for reorganization. I hope this board chooses a different president and vice president as we need real leadership. Starting a massive project in the middle of the school year where we have limited space has caused nothing but fights between parents and teachers, having board members who go out of their way to name people on social media and to speak as if they represent the board is not only against ethics rules, it's just plain poor judgment and abuse of power. The Parent Academy, Mr. Walker says, great turnout. The first meeting was of 6 parents, the second meeting was of 9 parents, plus teachers. We have more than 1,000 children in the school. There's definitely not a big turnout. Compared to the board of ed meeting, it is a great turnout. As mental health issues grow, it is necessary to have counselors readily available, however, not at the expense of our children's education. When you host this type of focus group, use someone who's trained in running a focus group, not someone who is going to simply write a report based off what the board or Walker wants. I have come to know that we are leaving behind the children who do not have any mental problems or struggle with school and are just simply children. What about that? Seems as though the children with no struggles at all get the short end of the stick. Another thing that Mr. Walker pointed out in this last meeting that there could be a potential hike in taxes going up to 5 times. I guess that broken record can finally be put to rest. We need a crossing guard on Barbara and Clift, and I hope that that is pertained to the Hillman PD. Running in the past election taught me a great deal. Despite the outcome, I am very proud that I had enough courage to go through with it. I thought the school board meant no politics, just what's right for the student, the parents, and the teachers. However, we have a councilman's wife, a councilman's daddy, a deputy chief, and now we just added a senator's family member. So bang goes that theory. However, happy holidays and glad to be back.
Okay. Thank you, Ms. Sterna. Is there anybody else who would like to address the board?
Yes. Say no.
Was that? I'm sorry? Okay, and there's nobody online? Okay, so motion to close the floor?
Second, Moxel.
Moved by Mr. Mosco and seconded by whom?
Martinez.
Martinez, roll call, please.
Mr. Abasi,
Yes.
Mr. Coletta, there, Mr. Coletta,
Don't seem like it.
okay. Mr. Martinez,
Yes.
Mr. Moxell,
Yes.
Mr. Ramadan,
Yes.
Ms. Faradigliosi, Mr. Webb,
Yes.
Mrs. Gissel.
Yes. Okay, so I just want to wish everyone, again, happy holidays. Be safe, be well, rest, get ready for the new year. And meeting adjourned. Can I have a motion to adjourn?
Aye.
All for one?
All for one, aye.
Oh, Miss Augustin, before we adjourn, I realized that I never asked Mr. Merlino if he had anything to report. Okay, sorry about that. Okay, so can we move forward with the roll call for adjourning?
Can you tell me who motioned?
Motion.
Motion to adjourn.
Motion by Moxel,
Adjourn.
second
Second,
Martinez.
Martinez. To adjourn.
I'm gonna let Jamie do her last one.
Okay, so moved by Mr. Motzko and seconded by Mr. Martinez. Roll call?
Mr. Abasi.
Yes, I just want to also wish everybody a happy holiday season. We'll see you on the other side. And although she's not in the room anymore, I do want to thank Ms. Cerna for running and putting up a good fight in the campaign.
Mr. Coletta. Mr. Martinez.
Yes.
Mr. Moxo.
Yes.
Mr. Ramadan.
Yes.
Ms. Spirit Zigliosi for the
Yes.
last time. Okay, Mrs. Zissou.
Yes. Okay, thanks, everyone. Have a great evening.